Okay, Manny, reading the paper today. Biggest bold letters I've ever seen. The Sunday paper today. Quotations. Please tell me you don't have Trump stuff in your office. Right off the bat, when I picked up the paper, I was like, "Here we go." What the heck is wrong with people? What is wrong today? Like, is this really going to divide people so much that this sets us on different sides? I'm talking about like normal us all living in society. You say if somebody's a Trump supporter, you're over there. You're a well. I'm definitely not a white supremacist, but you're against all that's good. You want to kick people out of the country. You want to hurt people. You want to starve people to death. You want to. What the heck has happened? What do you see at your age now? What is wrong with? And to me, I personally have a problem with this being on the front page of the paper. What do you think about that?
Well, to me, what's worse about it, it's about the school system, education, and that's where it started. They have not educated their children. I guess maybe they don't teach history or civics, where kids don't know what's going about at the government. All they're teaching now is racism, and our guy's bad. No, your guy's bad and ours is good, so you vote this way.
Yeah.
And it's gotten so political, and somewhere along the line, when you went to school, when I went to school, they taught us not only reading, writing, and math, but there's certain uh, part of our teaching was morals. You don't cheat, you don't, play with girls in the hall or
Yeah.
have, stuff like that. They taught us we had to be a moral person in school. But now, somewhere along the line, especially the school system has lost its moral compass. Well, the whole country has lost its moral compass. And stuff like that should not be happening in schools where you bring it to that.
Yeah. What do you have to do, or is it possible to change the school system? I mean, is there anything you can do at this point, or you're just dependent on the people that go graduate, get a teaching degree, and they go take these jobs? Why is it that it seems like now to me, I could very much be wrong, but it seems to me like the school system or the teachers involved tend to be on the liberal side, anti-Trump. Why is that?
Well,
And
again,
is it true? I may be wrong.
well, again, the universities have
Oh, okay. Yeah.
indoctrinated their students to be liberal or more or less social. If they would teach what socialism really is, nobody would be want a socialized
Yeah.
government because it's never worked anywhere.
Yeah.
Somehow or another, they haven't taught that. It sounds good, everybody kind of be treated the same, everybody have the same thing. That does not work.
But no, but I think you hit it on the head. I can tell you from listening to very young people saying, "Oh yeah, we'd like for it to be across the board. Everybody have stuff for free." Yeah, I would too. I guess, and that would be great. But you're right. It may sound good, but it doesn't work. And why they don't see that? But then what's the end game? If a politicians, you've got your boy Mandami, you got AOC, and I'm not putting these individuals down. They're people, and I don't disrespect people. But when they're Bernie Sanders, your boy Bernie, okay, when he's pushing this agenda, what is their end game? How do they think that works when they should be educated enough to know better?
They know better, but they also know they want to keep power. When you think, well, getting back to the school system, what's wrong with the school system? Government got involved in it.
Yeah.
And they dictate how teachers teach or what they teach. Because I know a lot of good teachers, and they've told me we really can't teach kids to learn. There's no discipline, and we can't discipline kids and make them act. And because it's almost like they're overpaid babysitters. That's why the people that can are sending the kids to private schools or homeschooling. Homeschooling is one of the biggest growing things going now, because the people that want their kids to have a good education so they can have a chance in life to make a good living, when they see what's going on in public school, they'll either put them in private school or say we can homeschool them better than what the government's doing.
Well, one thing I can't relate to, I never have been able to, is that people that, well, it's like we're talking about it was on the front page here, is that the people that really push their agenda, their politics, you would think that they would know better to do that than to children, because you're supposed to go into teaching, reading, writing, arithmetic, whatever. But what is it about people that are, I mean, I know in politics you've seen this, that are just so absolute on pushing their politics? I mean, you don't go around just talking your politics to somebody you don't know, do you?
No.
And why do you think people are like that, to where they want to make it known?
Well, get back. It's the politicians. They they're talking to people that think like them. That especially the working class people and the poor, because politicians, their big concern is trying to stay in power, and if you they don't realize the government doesn't have any money. It has to get money from the working class people to provide all these freebies people are wanting to get. Mm-hmm. And I think they rationalize there's more people that are poor and want something for nothing than those that want to work and make it on their own. So if they can get in power and get those people to vote on them because they think they're going to get their entitlements, they'll stay in power. And Jack Benson told me one time, I said, Jack, and he was a yellow dog Democrat. I said, some of the stuff, it's wrong. So he said, yeah, but you got to get elected. If you don't get elected, you can't be in there and make the decisions that you think need to be made.
And what do you think about that statement?
Well, that's wrong. You ought to go in there and try to do what's right.
Yeah.
And then that goes back to your morals. How can you just try to make decisions on things that will put you back in office? And just like now, politicians up there, they make decisions that will keep them get reelected because they've got theirs. Most people that go up there are either already well off, or when they get in there, they're going to get well off, and they like those perks of. It's like a drug. When you get in politics, it's like a drug. Once you've been in there, and all the people make over you and tell you how great you are and give you money to get reelected and everything, it's just like a drug, and you're addicted to it. And like I told our council members one time, they were talking about, we need to make more money. We're not. I said, look, guys, I said, don't get the big head. I said, we got elected by a small majority of our constituents. I said, they think we're making too much money now, and you think they're going to give us more?
Yeah, they're really going to like it to hear that you voted for yourself to make more money.
Yeah.
Let's stay on this politics for a minute. You got to explain this, because I've heard this before I was 10 years old. You talking to local people about, and they talk politics. Yellow dog Democrat. What does that even mean?
That means if you had a choice between a Republican and a yellow dog, you would vote for that yellow dog.
Oh, come on! That's exactly what it
is. And
why are we
people,
picking on dogs? Why does the dog have to be yellow? A yellow dog Democrat.
But that's what people. I guarantee you, there's a majority of people that will look and see if it's got an R or D in front of that name.
Yeah.
I know when I was knocking on doors, I had a couple of people. I'd go knock on the door and I'd tell them, I'm running for city council. I need your vote. She said, are you a Republican or Democrat? I said Republican. They just slammed the door.
Yeah, is it really that bad?
Yeah.
But now I have to say that I'm going to have to say, when I go to vote, if some of the races I don't know, I'm going with the R's. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's just what I do. I just figure got a better chance that way. I mean, I'm a conservative. I don't hide it. And I can be in a room, and you know me this way, I can be in a room with 10, Democrats that are far left and liberal, and I'll speak my piece and say, sorry, you're all wrong. I'm the one that's right. But when did you decide what side you were on?
Well, when I started working, and I realized that the Democrats, especially when I was working in a plant,
Mm-hmm.
welding, the Democrats were wanting to form a union,
Mm-hmm.
and they got to talk about all the benefits we'd get, and they couldn't fire us, and we could get all that, and I noticed that those that was pushing the union were the guys that wasn't real big on doing their job and working hard. And I thought I was always the kind that I could outwork anybody. And I thought if I did a better job than this guy over there, I ought to get more than him. instead of us both making the same thing.
Very true.
So
But it almost opened up the door for you to step back and do less. But neither you nor I are that way.
no,
I
that's
have
right.
to. I have to work it to the max.
It's just wrong.
Yeah, I don't like getting paid if I'm not going to get the work done. So let me yellow dog. I finally, after all these years, and I didn't want to ask anybody because I thought maybe it's something really offensive. But you would name somebody and tell me that he. I just took it at well, he very much is a Democrat if he's yellow dog. I didn't know what the difference was.
Well, it's just like when I ran the last time and I got beat. There was a gay guy that ran against me, and some of my black friends said, "Well, that's blacks don't like what they call sissies."
Yeah.
Said, so you should get reelected. Well, after I got beat, I said, "Hey, I thought you said they would vote for a sissy." He said, "Well, I guess a Republican they would."
Well, that's not really good. That's I think when they look at the reasons why that it's always anti-Republican, it's always anti-Trump. The one thing I do look forward when President Trump's term is done that there'll be no more of the, as they say, the Trump derangement syndrome, because I hate all the hate.
Well, I think everybody has got a right to vote how they want for whatever reason. I won't argue and tell them, that they're stupid or wrong, because we all have a choice to make. But I've talked to some of my friends, the black friends, and I'm telling them, I said, how can y'all vote for a Democrat? I said, right now, I said, used to be Democrat. I think Democrat at one time were for the working people, but it's changed now. But still, I said, look, how can y'all vote for a party that want to keep you enslaved?
Mm-hmm.
Voted or fought to keep y'all as slaves. They brought in the Ku Klux Klan, Jim Crow law. They didn't want you to go to their schools, and you still vote for them?
Yeah, every time.
I don't understand that.
I don't either.